Before we start the video, YouTube has changed the subscriber settings, so be sure to click the little gear next to the subscriber button to get notifications for new videos. The Mario series is filled with all kinds of different enemies. Some look like turtles, some look like mushrooms, and then there's the Chain Chomp. This has to be one of the weirdest but also most iconic enemies in the Mario franchise. But what is the origin of this enemy? And how did he change in terms of gameplay, story and design in all those years? Well, let's have a look. It all started around 1988. Nintendo was working on a new Mario game, and they had to come up with new enemies for this platformer. One of these enemies was the legendary Chain Chomp. The inspiration for this enemy comes from a childhood experience of the Mario series creator Shigeru Miyamoto, where a dog tried to attack him. The dog lunged at him but was jerked back by its leash, just as it snapped at Miyamoto, inches in front of his face. And so the idea for the Chain Chomp was born. A big beast with scary looking teeth tied to a chain that would lunge at you if you came too close. As a result, Chain Chomps also possess canine qualities, such as barking, and are commonly used as guard dogs throughout the Mario series. Many Chomps have been part of the Koopa Troop, though a couple of them have been shown to be independent. They first appear in World 2-5 of Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES and Famicom. Their relatives, the fire-spitting Flying Flame Chomps, also appear later in the game. Now the interesting thing about this game is, if they tug on their chain 50 times, or if the timer hits 160 seconds, all Chain Chomps come loose. So if you were planning to just mess around with the Chain Chomp, then you will be punished for it if you do it for too long. Which is a funny feature in my opinion, since this must have happened to someone. There are 4 ways to defeat Chain Chomps in this game. Using a Starman, throwing a Koopa Shell, throwing a hammer at it as Hammer Mario, and stomping on it as a statue with Tanuki Mario. So they are tough and very aggressive enemies, which both fit the origin of the enemy. Chain Chomps can really scare you, just like the dog scared Miyamoto. And just like a lot of other Mario enemies, they also made some variations, like the Fire Chomp, which made life horrible in World 5-9. Not a lot of space and lots of fire. So yeah, they are a pain to deal with, and actually completely different from the original Chain Chomp. They roam around freely and are mostly used in sky-themed levels to attack the player while they were jumping from platform to platform. Now after this, the Chain Chomp had to make the jump from 2D to 3D, and this worked out perfectly. In my opinion, the Chain Chomp functions better in 3D, since he can now attack from all sides, and it's overall scarier if he lunges at you because of the camera angles. In terms of design, he is pretty much the same. In Super Mario 64 and its remake Super Mario 64 DS, a giant Chain Chomp is found in Bob-omb Battlefield. It's guarding a jail cell containing the Power Star involved in the mission behind Chain Chomp's gate. So they are used for their original purpose for the very first time, being a guard dog of some sort. In order to obtain the star that Chain Chomp guards, his post must be ground pounded 3 times, breaking the chain. Once the Chain Chomp is free, it jumps around, smashing the jail cell open in the process and leaps away, allowing Mario to reach the star. So they use them as a mission objective. They aren't used randomly throughout the level. Oh no. This is the biggest difference they made between 2D and 3D Chain Chomps. Also, Chain Chomps were first given their iconic dog bark in this game, and has since been used throughout the Mario series. So now they are finally a guard dog, made of steel, round, and actually don't look like a dog at all, unless there are dogs that look like this. No. They aren't really dogs, but the bark is at least a step in the right direction. At Nintendo, you could have easily made a dog out of them. That would have made more sense. After this, we saw them in yet another 3D Mario game, the legendary Super Mario Sunshine. This game is the first to feature the Chain Chomp with a realistic linking chain, rather than connected orbs or rings as seen in the older games. So in terms of design, things are a bit more realistic, which is a good thing, since the old design was a bit odd. Now they also introduced something else, which I freaking love. Small, puppy-like Chain Chomps called Chain Chomplets, which are just adorable and they actually look like dogs for once. But we also saw the normal version, possibly the parent of the little ones. Both the Chain Chomp and the Chain Chomplets are hot, and will burn Mario if he touches them. The only way to cool them is with water, but this doesn't last long. The chain chomplets appear on the first Pianta village mission, where Mario must launch them into the spring to cool them after calming them down with water. So yet again, they aren't used as random enemies, but for certain missions only, which is a good thing, since these missions were thanks to this a lot of fun and very unique. They turn it into some sort of pinball, since you have to launch them in the water, which is on the other hand a good twist, but can also be really annoying. The larger chain chomp appears in the 4th episode. It's sitting out in the sun, chained to a stake in the ground, and red hot from rage, and it's refusing to take a bath. In order to cool its temper, Mario must first release the chain, which causes it to go on a rampage throughout the village. When Mario grabs the chain, he must pull the chain chomp into its tub filled with water. So all these missions were based on water, but it's Super Mario Sunshine after all, and that game is quite heavily based on water. But this took the chain chomp in a completely different direction. They are now beasts filled with heat and rage that Mario has to tame. This fits perfectly with what a chain chomp is, but still does something completely different with them. Besides this, they start to become more and more like actual aggressive dogs in terms of behavior, which all started with Super Mario 64. After this, the chain chomp returns to his original setup from the 2D games, for example in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Here they are yet again tied to a pole with a chain, and try to attack Mario. And to be honest, things don't really change from this point on in the main series. Sure, they get little changes left and right, like in Super Mario Galaxy where they roll around and are an obstacle now, but nothing special or new. We do however see how they are created in the Chomp Works Galaxy, which is some sort of factory that produces chain chomps. So are they real beings, or more like robots of some sort? Well, this is a bit vague, and we never really get to see where the chain chomps come from. Since in Sunshine we see young chain chomps, and here they are just created in a factory. But we don't see these chain chomps actually doing something. So are they even alive? Maybe, maybe not, I have no idea. Now we do see some different versions of the chain chomp throughout the series, like the Chomp Sharks, which are huge versions. We saw these in Yoshi's Island, so they also appear outside of the Mushroom Kingdom, since this game was set on Dinosaur Island. But overall, these variations are very similar to the original, so it's nothing special to be honest. Now we did see them in a lot of spin-off games, and they even made some cameo appearances. Chain chomps were originally created as enemies for the Legend of Zelda series, but ended up being used for the Mario series first. But they do make a lot of cameo appearances in the Zelda games. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening features 3 domesticated chomps, one named Bow Wow, stemming from the Japanese name for chain chomp, One. And in the Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures and A Link to the Past, they feature chain chomps as enemies that Link must avoid. We even see one in Hyrule Warriors, so they probably wanted to give the chain chomp a role in the Zelda games, since this was the original plan after all. But the best version of the chain chomp has to be the one in the regular 4 Swords game, since this one is used as an item, and it can actually steal rupees from other players, which is annoying for everyone except the person with the chomp. And so, it ended up as a fun cameo in some of the Zelda games. But they were also seen in games like WarioWare and even Bayonetta 2, where they are used as weapons by Bayonetta and Jenna. Now besides these cameos, they were also seen in some interesting ways in Mario spin-off games. Especially in Mario Kart Double Dash, where the chain chomp is a usable item exclusive for Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. It pulls the racers forward for a few seconds, and bowls over other racers in its path, making this one of the best items in the entire game. And in other games, he is mostly used as an obstacle, enemy, or even weapon. So the chain chomp has served many different roles in its lifetime, and became more like an actual dog as time went on. And who knows what the future will bring. Before you go, be sure to check out my Twitter, Twitch and Instagram. Here I post all kinds of updates about new videos. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitch, since the live streams that I usually do on Friday on YouTube are going to move to Twitch. That's going to be done in 2 weeks. We play all kinds of games, for example Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap. So come hang out, it's every Friday, 8 PM CIT time. Thanks for watching everybody. If you have any feedback, if you want to tell me there's something wrong with the channel or the video, tell me in the comments down below, I really would love to know.